Well, it would seem as if, regrettably, we've finally found out the answer to an age old question. You see, as it would turn out, you actually can't fight forest fires with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, as I'm sure you might have heard, a completely uncontrolled fire just ripped through the Palisades in Southern California, indiscriminately burning down million-dollar house after million-dollar house. But why did this happen? What series of events led to such a catastrophe, and could it have been avoided? Well, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Los Angeles' very first female LGBTQ+ fire chief.
I'm super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future, one that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? I say, I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 3,300 city firefighters, only 115 are women right now. She's already looking at ways to change that. She's quick to point out that doing so has a greater purpose, attracting the best and brightest for the job.
They feel included, they feel valued, and they feel part of a cohesive team.
The chief also checks another box when it comes to inclusivity and diversity at this department. She's a proud member of the LGBTQ community.
That just kind of opens the door of people that thought, wow, I didn't even know that was an opportunity for me.
And so under this woman's leadership, or lack thereof, a raging and uncontrolled forest fire has just destroyed one of the wealthiest communities in all of California. Because as it would turn out, subverting the meritocratic hiring process, you know, the process in which you give the job to the person that has earned it, by instead hiring women and LGBTQ+ people doesn't really work out when the job is to prevent and combat forest fires. But you know what? As they say, the fish rots from the head down. And I'll tell you what, in this case, that saying is 100% true. Take a look at this. As reported, LA Mayor Karen Bass cut fire department funding by $17.6 million months before wildfires turned the city into a hellscape. Now, that's a curious thing to do considering wildfires and forest management have been a massive issue in Southern California forever. But now I know what you're all thinking. We might not have the money to adequately combat and prevent forest fires, but do we still have the money necessary for DEI training at least? Well, the answer is yes. Take a look at this.
We are hosting our new employee orientation, and our focus is to teach our new employees for them to understand cultural competency, identify implicit and unconscious bias, and be aware of the importance of us having a diverse and inclusive workforce.
Oh my God. This is worse than anyone could have imagined. This is how they've been spending their time. No wonder their entire city's burning down. But hey, you know what they say? DEI equals what? DIE.
Diversity is important because the different people bring different lenses to their job, and those different ideas, those different lenses are important to have the best practices for our industry.
How many lenses do you need? Your job is to combat and prevent forest fires. You should be hiring whoever is best able to do that, and clearly that wasn't happening.
The Los Angeles County Fire Department would be recognized nationally and possibly even globally as an agency that was very serious about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and made some substantive changes so that everybody could feel safe and feel included.
Well, now everyone is included in not having a house anymore because they all just burned down. It seems like the leadership here was more focused on winning diversity awards than actually, I don't know, fighting fires. Like they're all just sitting around the office slapping themselves on the back saying, good job, look how inclusive we are, look how diverse we are. Meanwhile, a fire is ripping through their city, the city that they're supposed to be protecting. I wonder if the forest fire cares if the fire department is equitable and diverse. Like, I was thinking of burning down this neighborhood, but I don't think I will because I noticed that 30% of the firefighters are homosexual. Maybe I'll go burn down Florida instead. And on that note, I do want to say real quick, guys, I've noticed around 90% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you enjoy the videos, please consider subscribing because it actually helps a lot. But just when you thought this entire Southern California forest fire situation couldn't get any worse, guess what? It does. You see, a local Los Angeles real estate developer, a man named Rick Caruso, called into a news station and absolutely laid out the facts on the ground and absolutely torched LA Mayor Karen Bass. Take a look at this.
My heart goes out, obviously, to the people with their homes, and I'm watching the small businesses around us go up in flames. This is people's livelihoods. So it's devastating. But what is most concerning to me is our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this. There's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And I'm going to be very honest. We've got a mayor that's out of the country, and we've got a city that's burning, and there's no resources to put out fires.
And so this city is so incredibly mismanaged that water doesn't even come out of the gosh darn fire hydrants. And while all of this is happening, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is on vacation in Ghana, which honestly at this point probably has a higher standard of living than Los Angeles. And so as a consequence of all the budget cuts, the DEI initiatives, the complete and total subversion of meritocracy, the total lack of leadership, Los Angeles has now been turned into effectively a dystopian wasteland. In fact, because first responders aren't able to properly do their jobs because of their totally incompetent leadership, people are literally abandoning their cars in the middle of the road and fleeing on foot. Then, when the first responders finally get the green light to go in and try to do something, hours later, they have to bulldoze their way in. This is a complete clown show because of the progressives in charge. I mean, look at this. Amidst everything that's going on, you even have hospitals failing, with sickly and elderly people needing to be rushed out before they get consumed by flames. This looks like a war zone, but no, this is just progressive policy in action. And so now morning has come and we can all clearly see the extent of the damage. Remember the $17.6 million in firefighting budget cuts that LA City Mayor Karen Bass made? How much money do you think it's going to cost to repair all of this? How many $5 million houses got destroyed? How many people have just lost their jobs and all of their possessions, or God forbid, lost a loved one in the fires? You would think that making sure that water was running out of the fire hydrants would be something important to keep an eye on, but no. To these insane progressive legislators, things like that don't matter as much as making sure that the firefighting team is equitable, whatever the hell that means, and making sure that they attend their quota of DEI training sessions. When your focus is filling arbitrary racial and gender quotas, it necessarily prevents you from actually getting work done. And you know what? Maybe in some jobs that's not such a big deal, but when you're in the business of combating and preventing forest fires, I don't really think there's much room for error. As we've all just seen, in this line of work, taking your eye off the ball for even one moment as a consequence of deranged progressive ideology can mean that first responders aren't prepared to tackle a crisis, or that water isn't even running to the fire hydrants. And so here we are. Thoughts and prayers to the innocent Californians that were impacted by this terrible but also highly preventable situation. But hey, on this one, I want to know what you guys have to say, so please go down below and drop a comment. Please like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe, that's huge and it helps a ton. Thank you all very much for watching, and as always, stay safe.